Oh shit, I forgot to put my on audio. 1 second, give me 1 second. My headset used to automatically switch to headset automatically switch to. Now it doesn't do that anymore. Headset automatically switch to. I got multiple sounds in my headset automatically. Okay, let's go. We are going to do some horror react today, and apparently YouTube algorithm had a bit of changes. So apparently now it's going to favor content that is good for TV watchers. So now we're just going to watch this on TV. Not on TV, sorry. I mean, we're going to make it TV friendly. I'm going to, because apparently what YouTube's doing right now is, because people on TV, they just like to watch long form content, and the TV users, apparently the watch time is slowly overtaking desktop watchers, which is very surprising. And then that's the reason why YouTube is promoting long form content more now. Let me just turn on the desktop audio. Okay, it's working now, and I want to watch these videos anyway. I thought I might as well.
What the f? That's a fucking setup. That is a fucking setup right there. Go? I don't know. Just go straight. Go straight. Go straight. Go straight.
You know, that's actually a protocol with, if you are in the military protocol with encountering ambush, is you just keep driving. Because if you stop to fight it, you are fighting a setup.
Until the forest took an eerie
You are
turn.
fighting a setup where
What happened
next
next was nothing short of terrifying.
advisable for you to
Welcome to
fight.
Scary Flashbacks, your portal to eerie tales, spine-chilling mysteries,
Increase my
and
shadow.
the unsettling horrors lurking in the shadows. Case number 1. The YouTube channel Brothers Wild, run by two brothers, Ashley and Lewis, features their adventures like camping and hiking. However, in November 2023, Ashley decided to go on a solo camping trip to Cadair Berwyn in northeast Wales, unaware of a hidden
England?
danger that awaited him there.
I don't need to spend.
No, don't
hundreds
go
of
to
thousands of
England.
pounds
You can't check
do
out
this.
Wikipedia if you're in England.
That was weird. That literally sounded like someone coming down. Hundreds of thousands of pounds to do this. That scared me actually. Hello? It sounded like someone's slipping down here. Ooh.
You know,
Straight up just sitting
I
there
heard
all
this
time.
guy talking about
And did
different
it.
stuff before. He said, if you hear no animals, you have to be really careful. And there's a reason why there's no animals around. No critters.
What was that noise? I can hear loads of things around here. Head up and just sit in the room all the time. And did it. I heard someone saying something right next to me. I hope it caught.
After a long journey, Ashley arrived at his destination, only to feel an unsettling presence in the woods. Though he tried to ignore it, he had no idea that more terrifying events were on the way.
I just heard like a loud bang.
I don't think this is a setup. They do encounter sometimes when they go
It's
on
either an
camping. they do
explosion
encounter a lot
or
of
it sounded
things.
like
So it's not surprising.
a gunshot. It was really, really loud. Wow,
It's really not surprising to come across
that's
any
unnerved me.
hunters.
It's really loud, really loud. So it looks like the storm's like holding up tonight. It's not too bad at all. So yeah, I'm quite cozy here. A bit of rain, but no, nothing worth writing home about. But yeah.
It was the writing.
So even though I'm
well,
solo camping, it's quite nice, it's like quite relaxed. Just had a phone call from my brother now. He's in Chicago, obviously, so it would have been nice. Ah!
Holy shit.
What the hell was that? What?
Well, obviously he lived, so that's okay.
Go away! Chicago, obviously, so it would have been nice.
Awakened by a loud bang and feeling movement around his tent, Ashley froze in fear. Quickly packing his gear, he evacuated the woods, reminded that danger could lurk anywhere. Case number 2, Uncharted Travel, a YouTube channel known for urban exploration, embarked on an overnight journey to an abandoned mining settlement in the mountains of British Columbia.
We are headed to film probably one of the most requested videos on my channel, which is Alone, Episode 5. The location that we're going to film is an old abandoned mine, somewhere in southern BC. It's exchanged hands and it has quite a rich history, but it is so far out of the way that I had to take a plane, I had to rent a car, and now I am preparing to do some off-roading and then hike to
I
this
think
location.
we'll turn the blocker off. At least we'll give it some.
When I first tried this weird
Yeah,
little ear
what do we
trick
have?
to quiet the ringing in my ears,
Oh, hell,
I
hate
honestly
those
didn't
things.
think it would work.
Skip. Where are we?
What the f?
Brothers.
What the hell was that? What?
Oh, there it
Camping,
is.
it's quite obviously, so
Case number 2, Uncharted Travel, a YouTube channel known for urban exploration, embarked on an overnight journey to an abandoned mining settlement in the mountains of British Columbia.
We are headed to film probably one of the most requested videos on my channel, which is Alone, Episode 5. The location that we're going to film is an old abandoned mine, somewhere in southern BC. It's exchanged hands and it has quite a rich history, but it is so far out of the way that I had to take a plane, I had to rent a car, and now I am preparing to do some off-roading and then hike to this location.
Even though it's designated as a protected landmark, this site is still off limits to the public. After a strenuous hike to reach this secluded spot, the atmosphere took an eerie turn as night began to fall.
Hello, welcome. Hello, welcome.
Come on, they just want to say hi.
Hello, welcome.
Okay, that's like the third time the motion sensor outside has gone off. Okay, I'm gonna go check it out.
While setting up his tent earlier, he had placed motion sensors as a precaution against any potential intruders. So it was quite unsettling when the sensors started going off randomly. Yet this was just the tip of the iceberg, as things quickly took a terrifying turn.
Something. It's like skidding down the stairs. I don't know what that was, but we're gonna go check it out. Whatever it was, it came from downstairs. It sounded like something dropped and fell down the stairs.
I wouldn't go down
Just
there
be
if
the
it
old
was.
building.
This guy's the type that's first to die in a horror movie.
Uncertain whether the disturbance was due to animals or something more sinister, he made up his mind to investigate. But little did he know, the terror of the night was far from over.
Here just to kind of like drone out some of the noise, but it just makes Okay, that, I think we need to go investigate that because I know I closed all the doors, so that concerns me a little.
Wait, is he camping in an abandoned building?
Weary about noise discipline here, or light discipline, because it's not windy. And all of these doors are closed. Well, except for this one, but this one's not budging. As you can see, it's like stuck there.
Does he have a gun?
It'd take a lot to move these ones.
Imagine doing this without a weapon.
But it sounded like it was one of these doors. That's so bizarre, they're all closed. Like... this night just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
He discovered nothing, and when he attempted to settle down for the night, sleep eluded him as the unsettling sounds persisted. Ultimately, he survived the ordeal, and by morning, he packed up his things to leave. This was undoubtedly an experience he would remember for a long time. Case number 3. Sydney is a solo traveler and content creator who documents her journeys through various campsites and national parks in the United States. Known for her relatable vibe, she shares the good and bad aspects of life on the road. However, one experience at the Tennessee wilderness turned out to be quite unsettling.
There's nobody here. I'm gonna get out and take a gander and make sure everything's like safe, and I might drive down there, but I might take the top spot too. I don't know yet. That's where my friend Grace camped.
Holy
I
shit, they just
camping
camped
down
some really shitty spot.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna come down to this spot. I'm so glad it's open.
After finding a quiet place to camp, she made herself a meal, only disturbed by rustling.
Okay, like the one where people say, oh, it feels creepy. That's because if you check those ones, I guarantee you listen to the background sound. You won't hear any birds, animals, nothing. Just be very quiet. And the people, you'll pick up on that. Most people pick up on that, but they don't know what. That's the reason why.
Leaves and occasional splashes from fish in the stream, until a strange noise interrupted the silence.
Flight Center.
Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Try Hungry Jack's new bacon gravy whopper. Flame
You
grilled
think
Aussie
of,
beef, sizzling
Hungry
bacon, and
Jack's.
rich gravy.
I think
Part of the
Hungry
new
Jack.
Aussie pub
Okay, so
classic
Hungry
range.
Jack's is basically
Cheers,
like a Burger King.
legends. The burgers are better
But
at
the
Hungry
story
Jack's.
is, someone's already taken the name of Burger King. So Burger King, when they came into Australia, they had to rebrand into Hungry Jack's.
What was that?
Hey, this one's smart. She's got a gun.
Anyways, dinner is served. I really hope that wasn't like a mountain lion or something. But I'm not gonna let it scare me to stay in my car. I packed all my stuff up so that if I do need to like just close this, I only have this to move, but you know what I'm
Mountain lion's
thinking?
not that big if you got a pistol.
What if it was Bigfoot and that was like a deer that he was eating and it was like making noises because the deer is scared?
Oh dear.
That was so weird. I heard it move too. It like moved from like there to over there. I think my saving grace is that I know there are other campers back here, so I feel better about that. I'm not completely alone.
She thought the noise didn't sound like any usual forest animal, even though she tried to convince herself it was just a deer or another camper. Being cautious, she packed away most of her gear, keeping only the essentials and making sure her car was ready to drive away quickly. The night went by without any confrontation, but she still felt tense, leaving with a sense of unease and many unanswered questions. Case number 4. Meet C.J. Faison, a YouTuber known for his spooky explorations. On February 4th, 2024, he went camping in New Jersey's haunted Pine Barrens with friends Dylan and Chris, unaware that their relaxing trip would become unforgettable.
I pulled over on the side of the road just to give you all a glimpse. This doesn't really, we had some people that told us, oh, CJ, the Pine Barrens, it like kind of reminds me of the Pocomoke Forest, you gotta come up here. This is not like the Pocomoke at all. This has its own level of creepiness that I probably can't even explain on.
Huge forest. They said millions of acres, huh? 1.1 million.
You know what I like about those videos? They say, oh my god, so creepy. They go in anyway. It's content. That's what content
At least we have bathrooms, which is good. We need to go. Spooky dookies are literally gonna have you happen tonight. Spooky dookies. Watch you go in there. Oh, what is he doing? Huh? That's what happens on here.
It's a pine needle.
There's pine needles everywhere.
We're gonna die.
They were surprised to find a stranger in the forest. Feeling uneasy, they decided to go back to their campsite to calm down, not realizing that the real terror was just beginning.
Looking around all sketchy like that?
Yeah.
What are they looking for?
I don't know, but they're looking for something.
Is that what you saw earlier?
I don't think that was the brake lights I saw earlier. I really don't. So like, the reason I want to go to the bridge is just to clear it, make sure they either left, or if they haven't left, just scope it out. You know what I mean?
Fine, yeah.
Let's just watch this car go away though. You can pull up though.
Just moseying along.
There's sunglasses?
Yeah, let's see right there.
Holy shit. Sunglasses. It's like you haven't seen sunglasses lost in a while before.
Bro, what the f? That's a fucking setup. That is a fucking setup right there.
Go?
I don't know, just go straight, go straight, go straight, go straight.
They thought the car was linked to the stranger they'd seen earlier. Out of suspicion, they followed the car, but soon realized it was a trap. Losing sight of the vehicle, they returned to their campsite to rest, but rest was the last thing they would find.
Oh, holy shit.
Guys, are you up?
I don't think that's a gunshot. I think that's just the firewood
Dylan,
crack
Chris?
or rocks. The star. Yeah, I think that might just from a fire pit. Might be just from the fire pit, just stuck crackling.
Dylan, Chris?
Yeah, just fire. This guy's just freaking out for no reason. Maybe not.
Did you guys hear that?
It's kind of strange how they will have a camera
Chris,
facing
Dylan?
outside. It's like they are filming it for content.
Guys.
Someone or something was out there, as Faison kept hearing loud bangs, as if something slammed into his tent. Determined to find the source of the disturbance, Faison woke Dylan and Chris, and they ventured into the dark to seek answers. What they discovered was certainly not what they expected.
I say it, look gonna be fine there.
Can you see it?
Say straight ahead to the trees.
Just wait. Is it moving?
No, it's like just standing there. Oh my god, dude!
Voice, bro. That's a fucking voice.
Bro, it's 2:30 in the morning. Why would someone be out here? Dude, that light.
It's gotta be a fucking person, dude. There's a light, and now there's like a scream in the distance.
That light is just standing way out there.
Do we? I'm gonna ask this to you guys. Do you feel comfortable?
Imagine there's someone on the other side. They're like,
it's gone.
It's gone.
Look.
They're also scared. That's why they have the flashlight.
Listen, the only way that we're gonna be able to sneak up on this.
It was clear someone was watching them. Fearful for their lives, they quickly packed their gear and left the forest, abandoning whoever had been stalking them all night. Case number 5. Outdoor Family is a popular YouTube channel where a family of 4 explores forests and mountains. On November 3rd, 2024, while camping in a misty forest to escape reality, they encountered the unexpected as night fell.
Ses geldi baba.
Ne?
Hayvan sesi ya. Ne oldu ne?
They both need to have that window
Çakal
open.
mı kurt mu?
Hava. Aşkım. Duydun mu?
Ne?
Bir şey çadırı vurdu.
Dude, those guys sleep with the window open.
Aşkım.
Bir bakayım.
Aşkım dikkat et.
So who's filming? Is that his kids filming?
Ben bir bakayım.
Hava dikkatli ol. Hava.
Efendim?
Neredesin?
Buradayım canım, geliyorum. Şey,
Neydi?
bilmiyorum ki. Bir şey görmem. Hayvan mı? Bu etrafta. Hadi canım, hadi. Hadi gidelim.
They heard strange noises near their tent, so the father went outside to investigate. He didn't find anything, but he was curious, so he set up a trail camera to see what was making the sounds, and he sure captured something.
Hey boy.
Oh, what animals outside?
Bize.
It's still pretty crazy to sleep with that freaking
Kurt.
window
1, 2,
open.
3, 4. Bak.
Çok güzel.
Oh, let's see the
Büyük
book.
ya. Görüyor
Oh
musun?
no, that's the wild animal.
Bayağı da büyük. Dün gecedeki kurt olabilir. Burada her ne izi istersen var ya bak.
They captured a wolf on the trail camera. Although they weren't surprised, knowing it was a wildlife area, they still took precautions. Eventually, they packed up their belongings and left the premises. Thankfully, they departed unharmed. Case number 6. Sarah, a dedicated YouTuber with the channel Sarah Dumgo, had a wonderful day hiking. After parking her van in a serene park, she enjoyed nature's sounds and made a simple meal as the sun set. Just as she was about to relax, something unexpected interrupted her calm evening.
Hope you have a gun.
The knocking on her van grew louder, making her heart race and increasing her anxiety. In the quiet of the isolated area, she felt scared but also curious. Despite her panic, she gathered her courage to see who or what was at the door, and what she found was unexpected.
Please leave me be.
Camera saved her ass. Run him over.
She noticed a man peeking through her front window. He claimed he was searching for a girl and insisted on checking inside her van. Fear gripped her as she realized the danger of the situation. Without wasting any more time, she drove away as fast as she could, her heart racing. Imagine trying to sleep in your van when a stranger attempts to force his way inside. That's truly a nightmare. Thankfully, Sarah managed to escape safely and found another spot for the night. What do you think was the most disturbing encounter on this list? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.
Let's just click to the next one. Don't watch it alone.
Hey!
The fucking tree's falling apart. The tree is falling apart.
That is a person. I'm not even joking. What the f?
They thought it was going to be a regular camping adventure until the forest took an eerie turn. What happened next was nothing short of terrifying. Welcome to Scary Flashbacks, your portal to eerie tales, spine-chilling mysteries, and the unsettling horrors lurking in the shadows. On November 20th, 2024, Bear, a YouTuber known for his chilling explorations, went camping in a remote forest in Berlin, Ohio, famous for Bigfoot sightings.
Ohio.
As
you know,
night
there's
fell,
like a
he parked his truck
it's a
and
place
started
called
a fire,
China.
unaware of what lay ahead.
United States.
What was that?
Like a name for it. We got a country. Super confusing. Sometimes that's always like in a different country.
Oh, you gotta be crapping me. I keep seeing these flashes of light. Just really fast.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
Like I thought I was seeing some... Let's do a quick
I
perimeter
can't
check,
say
because
AI,
I feel
but
like I'm
I
being
hate
watched.
how everyone's trying to shove AI into everything.
I don't have the greatest feeling at the moment.
The atmosphere grew tense as strange noises echoed from the woods, making him feel watched. Despite his efforts to relax, an unsettling sensation persisted. He scanned the area for an explanation, but found nothing. While the lack of evidence offered some relief, the eerie feeling lingered, prompting him to stay in his truck.
My hair's standing straight up right now. I just threw that rag on the ground. I just threw that rag on the ground. And I heard hello from like behind me. What in the world? That light don't do nothing. Do you even see? I don't see any lights out there.
Inside the truck, Bear tried to ignore the unsettling forest sounds. Determined to stick to his plans, he prepared for bed, hoping the night would be uneventful. But soon, everything changed.
I didn't want to say that. Bigfoot, my boy. Oh! What was it? Something hit the truck. This is gonna be so scary.
Hearing strange sounds, Bear decided to set up his night vision camera in hopes of capturing something unsettling. Surprisingly, something truly terrifying unfolded. Someone tried to get into Bear's truck with a flashlight, but couldn't open the doors and eventually left. Bear later watched the footage and realized how close he had come to danger, but he was relieved he wasn't hurt. On December 25th, 2023, Faison, a YouTuber known for his eerie exploration videos at haunted places, set out for an adventure in the woods, not knowing it would take a frightening turn that would shock him and his viewers.
And it's like turning itself off every time that I turn. What the fuck is going on?
Faison felt a spooky vibe as he entered the woods, but his curiosity pushed him to explore more. He heard weird noises and saw strange sights, so he decided to head back to his van for the night where he felt safer and more at ease. Little did he know that something frightening was about to happen.
Make another noise. If that's you, make another noise.
It's got a pistol.
Oh gosh. Oh,
I hit the tail end to make another noise.
Oh shit, the window only goes down halfway. What the fuck is that? The fucking van was just moving.
A knock on his door broke the silence, followed by footsteps, and when he opened the door to check who it was, he found no one there. At dawn, he packed up and left the woods, knowing this was an experience he wouldn't forget.
Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Hurt can happen here, here, and here. If you've been injured in a public place, you may have an insurance claim through your super. Take the Slater and Gordon free claim check, and we'll take it from here.
Ads Ventures, a YouTuber who loves adventurous camping, went on a trip by a cemetery. As darkness fell, he grabbed his camera and explored the woods, walking among old gravestones and into the quiet forest.
That is the cemetery.
House.
How old are some of these then? 1908. Oh, wait a sec. There's 3 people in this grave.
Family size, says one.
The size of that. Well, obviously I don't want to be disrespectful and tread on any of the graves. It's quite hard to see where I'm treading.
As he ventured deeper, he encountered something very terrifying. The eerie feeling lingered, prompting him to stay in his truck.
My hair's standing straight up right now. I just threw that rag on the ground. And I heard hello from like behind me. What in the world? That light don't do nothing. Do you see? I don't see any lights out there.
Inside the truck, Bear tried to ignore the unsettling forest sounds. Determined to stick to his plans, he prepared for bed, hoping the night would be uneventful. But soon, everything changed.
I didn't want to say that. Bigfoot, my boy. Oh! What was that? Something hit the truck. This is gonna be so scary.
Hearing strange sounds, Bear decided to set up his night vision camera in hopes of capturing something unsettling. Surprisingly, something truly terrifying unfolded. Someone tried to get into Bear's truck with a flashlight, but couldn't open the doors and eventually left. Bear later watched the footage and realized how close he had come to danger, but he was relieved he wasn't hurt. On December 25th, 2023, Faison, a YouTuber known for his eerie exploration videos at haunted places, set out for an adventure in the woods, not knowing it would take a frightening turn that would shock him and his viewers.
And it's like turning itself off every time that I turn. What the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, at least bring night vision. If you get a commercial night vision
vibe as he entered the woods, but his curiosity pushed him to explore more. He heard weird noises and saw strange sights, so he decided to head back to his van for the night where he felt safer and more at ease.
This guy.
Little did he know that something frightening was about to happen.
We see this guy, Justin. Wait, we have seen this before.
Make another noise. If that's you, make another noise.
We have seen this, so let's see it forward.
I've had a large cup of Bailey.
He noticed some movement on the camera, and his heart raced as he tried to record it, but the darkness made it hard to see. Throughout the night, or was something supernatural at play? Given the situation, many thoughts began to flood his mind. He recalled the legend of a vicar who had died in the woods, and this memory haunted him even more. At dawn, he emerged from his van, shaken, but the once menacing woods appeared ordinary in the light of day. It's unsettling to contemplate the mysteries the wilderness may still conceal beyond our comprehension. Perhaps some things are better left unknown. But for now, let's delve into the next spine-chilling encounter. Christopher Brian Hills, known for his channel Urbex Hill, returned to an abandoned building that had haunted him since his first visit. Driven by curiosity, he wanted to see if the man from that encounter was still there, but the atmosphere grew increasingly eerie as he ventured deeper.
thought I heard somebody walking.
I'll never go to those places without some backups. You at least like get a group of
somebody was in there
go together
walking
with
and talking.
His heart raced when he heard voices under the stairs. He knew he wasn't alone, but he didn't turn back. As he moved deeper through a narrow passage, his camera caught something scary.
What the hell was that?
It's a hobo, you dumbass.
What?
What's he looking at?
Start your next chapter at
It's
the
the
Green
same guy, you are
Tarragindi,
scaring the
Brisbane's
hobo.
premier
Holy
retirement
shit.
village.
Hungry Jack's Cafe has brekkie wrapped up. Get crispy bacon, flame-grilled sausage, egg and a hash brown wrapped in a toasted tortilla. Perfect with a barista-made cap. Brekkie is better at Hungry Jack's.
A man walked away slowly. Chris didn't see him at first. He only realized it when he looked at the footage later, which sent chills down his spine. However, what he didn't know was that this was just the start of a scary night.
All these deaths behind. Somebody's down here.
Noises echoed from the hallway. In a panic, he ran for safety, unaware that he was about to encounter something worse than before.
I hear somebody talking. Somebody's down there.
Here's one more thing I need to point out. Right as that person with the flashlight turned around, I could see a gun in their hand. This startled me, so I started running away. There's no telling what these people could be using this building for. They could just be squatters or even scrappers. They could even be criminals hiding from the police. I don't know. But one thing I know for sure, they didn't want me there, because they started shooting a gun as I ran away.
I don't think they did. Okay, maybe they did.
Chris fled in desperation, trying to find his way out. Eventually, he narrowly escaped, but the terror of that night haunted him for a long time. What began as simple curiosity nearly cost him everything. This raises an important question. What would you have done if you were in Chris's shoes?
Don't go in there.
Dee's Dark Adventures is a popular YouTuber known for her exciting paranormal explorations. In March 2024, she went camping at Salt Fork State Park with her 2 dogs, and things quickly went wrong.
than more open land, and I was Stop. Hey, hey, woo! La, 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 la. Ah! That's too fucking close, dude. No. She's nervous looking. This is a bad idea.
Where's your gun?
I just whack. Get away from me. If you're near my tent, please leave. Stop.
Get a gun out.
Oh my god.
Oh, she has a gun. That's okay.
Stop, please. Hello? Stop. Oh god! Jesus Christ, stop. Okay, I know. Okay, we're going. Okay, all right. Let me calm down.
After finding a good place to camp for the night, she noticed her dogs behaving strangely, as if they sensed something she couldn't see. Worried about what might be out there and wanting to keep herself and her dogs safe, she decided to go back to her car for protection. But she had no idea that the real danger was just starting.
Okay.
I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything?
No, brother, one's going off. Okay. Whoo, doggy. I can't, man. This is too much for the nerves here, man. I don't. They're all around me. I don't think they're used to this
keep
kind of
walking.
stuff. Like people coming out and being like, "Hey, how are you? Let me." She's coming out to see us. Well, let's.
What's this?
Something.
Oh, let me see.
Was right.
Wildlife no area, no vehicle allowed beyond this point.
It was running up towards me. It's not close. It's like coming up around. Fuck. What was that? Something made a noise behind me and I ain't looking. Fuck. Huh? I got the door open. Come on.
It's over there.
Wind's picking up. I don't even know.
There's no reason for her to stay here apart from content farm. If they actually give a shit about safety, they will have got be gone already.
I'm done.
Many believed it was a dangerous area, as there was a sign indicating that it was a wildlife zone. She ignored the warnings, along with the signals from her dogs.
How's your day
which
going,
could
by
have
the
put
way,
them all
Spike?
in danger.
Going good?
Fortunately, she managed to leave the woods unharmed, along with her dogs.
Ice break. Choose your strength. Ice break. Real coffee recharge. Ice break. Bring it on.
Brendan, a YouTuber from Brendan Explores, went camping in Jaywick on
Good to
February
hear,
11th, 2024. Once a popular holiday destination, Jaywick is now one of England's most deprived areas, leading Brendan to question his choice to camp there.
After traipsing around for the last 20 minutes to half hour trying to find a spot, there's apparently a quiet little park up the end of me.
Feeling unsafe, he moved his van to a secluded lot by a forest, hoping for peace.
Well,
However,
those people
that
finding
was
the
about
most
to take a
ridiculous
terrifying
area
turn.
to camp. No shit, Sherlock.
Even though someone was trying to get into his van, he remained calm, trusting that the person would simply walk away. However, what happened next was far more terrifying than he could have imagined.
Hey!
This is called the junkies try to steal the stuff.
Right, whoever the that was has now gone. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh my god.
Brendan screamed in shock as his van's window shattered. The intruder dashed into the dark forest, leaving him shaken among the broken glass. What once felt peaceful was now dangerous. Realizing it was unsafe, Brendan decided to leave. If you want to see more of this creepy content, please subscribe, like, and share.
Should we go next one? This guy uses content sometimes. Some of it is reused. Like we were watching some of the clips we have seen in the first one. Holy fuck. Look at this. That's one hungry looking lion.
Listen to the noise now. Everything's panicking.
Whoa, whoa, run.
Have you ever wondered what happens when you decide to go camping for fun, but it turns into your worst nightmare? How did campers manage to get out of such encounters? Do they ever come back from these haunting experiences? This video is going to reveal the 10 most scary encounters. Without wasting any further time, let's move on to our first encounter. On January 10th, 2022, this YouTuber posted a video shared by one of his relatives recently returning from a camping trip. This was no ordinary video. It was one of the most disturbing pieces of camping footage of all time.
Hear it? Get Trevor. Austin, get the light.
Hey!
You know what this sound is?
Just when the cameraman
It's called
was
a
recording
junkie
the
on
dark
fentanyl.
forest with a flashlight on, he heard screams that didn't sound human. That voice wasn't familiar at all. It was neither a human nor an animal.
Get my keys. Oh, get ready. Everybody, get in my truck.
Everyone was ordered to get in the truck as soon as knocking sounds came out of
In my
nowhere.
truck.
Why would banging sounds just come out of the woods when there are no doors?
I hear it. I hear it.
Yep, it's the homeless men on drugs.
Where's that coming? Where's that coming?
There wasn't just one vocal or banging that scared them. It kept happening again and again. With a shiver running down their spines, they had no idea what to do. But what was that?
Where's that coming? Get my keys. Get my keys. Get my keys.
Junkies Kuni, yeah.
Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Doorbuster deals are on now.
Get in quick for great deals.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys.
The family didn't dare to camp in that forest again. The camping trip gave them no.
I like how it just start screams with Brownies.
That being said, let's move on to our next encounter. On the night of September 15th, 2011, Freddie Flintoff found himself alone in the Okavango Delta, surrounded by nothing but darkness. No other human, nor pet, just him, his camera, and the wild. But this night was about to take a horrible turn.
I should get eye
Something's come
tracker
between Freddy and the camera.
eye tracker
As the
plus
night grew
hard
darker,
monitor.
he heard lions getting closer. He could see
Okay,
their
that's
eyes
worse than
glowing in the
ghosts.
distance. They circled his
I will say
camera,
having a
their
lion
footsteps,
next to you is
his
a
heart
lot
beat
worse than having a
fast as
ghost.
they came closer.
Which is trying to focus on it.
For hours he stayed still, hoping they wouldn't attack. After what felt like forever, the lions moved away into the night. He was safe, but he would never forget how close they came.
Listen to the breeze now.
Yeah, it's 100% signs of me.
Everything around that tent was scared of lions. But who knows, they were just lions. That could be the Bigfoot or a skinwalker.
What?
Freddie would
What
never
does he
know
mean is
until he looked out the
skinwalkers?
tent.
Guy literally captured a freaking lion on
Moving on
camera
to our
and he
next
said it's
scary encounter.
skinwalkers.
On April 19th, 2021, when these campers were sleeping peacefully in their tents, some noises woke them up. No one would have believed their encounter unless it was recorded on the trail camera that they set up around their tents.
I like how this guy's just zipping it up as a lion.
not one, but two lions were walking around their tents. The campers weren't even able to breathe, knowing that these hungry lions were searching for food, probably. The lions even tried to hit their tents as well. Looked like they were dying for some flesh.
Yeah, that lion definitely looks very malnourished. You can see its ribs. don没上腹的。
Verschwinde! Verschwinde! Die Isomatte geschnappt.
Don't play music, I'm going to get copyright struck. Holy fuck.
When this man tried to look out if the lions had gone or not, the lion appeared again, this time in full attack mode. Before he could attack this camper, he quickly closed his tent, but the lion was growling in anger.
Jetzt zurück! Sind alle wieder da? Oh nein! Er zieht von der Zeltwand! Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Hey! Lass mein Zelt los!
Is he speaking German?
Hey! Setz dich locker! Ah, los! Ist was passiert? Das Männchen will in mein Zelt rein!
The lion was kicking the tent again and again, knowing that there was a human inside. It must have been a long night for the campers, as the danger was right over their head. What a scary encounter indeed. He rushed over to the other tent as soon as the lions were gone, but what if they appeared again? What a terrifying encounter this must have been.
Lions in random places. I'm going to camp in the park in the city land. Get ate out by lions.
2024,
I think he's
from
in
the
one of those
Northwest
nature
Wind went on a
reserves.
solo van camping trip, hoping for a peaceful escape into nature. As night fell, two strangers appeared near his camp, and things took a terrifying turn from here onwards. Their intentions quickly became clear. They were dangerous. What started as a quiet evening turned into a nightmare when they tried to kill him. Were they even human?
Somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent.
I think they went this way. I see you! Get away!
He was trying to be as brave as possible, but he had no choice but to
This
run
junkie
into the
asking for
darkness
lighters.
with their footsteps close behind. The sounds of leaves and sticks breaking underfoot filled the air as he desperately tried to escape.
You see that? I see you! I can see you!
I can't see
At
shit,
Valia,
buddy.
we know a healthy gut means a happy you. So boost your gut health and immunity with Valia's deliciously creamy yogurt, made with billions of probiotics. Get gut happy every day with Valia.
I will turn adblock on, but then it's like we are watching React content. If we turn on adblock, that's kind of disrespecting the content. So we'll leave the
It's getting bigger.
leave the
It's getting
adblock
bigger.
on.
All right, let's get the here. I don't know if they're like after me or something, or what the happened.
He kept saying that they were getting bigger. Did he doubt that there were some humans following him? Was he followed by humans or some other creepy creature? With these questions in our mind, let's move on to our fifth scary encounter. On June 10th, 2008, Krista and Lindsay were walking peacefully
Well,
through the
flicking
forest
lighting
during
up.
their day. But when they got back to their
A few of the past
sight
videos, they
broke.
actually the campers were actually armed with pistols. But I think some of those is in the UK, so I don't know, even carry in public, not too sure.
Lose them in terror. Carson had beheaded Mackenzie. At first, they thought it was a cruel joke, but then all the jokes took a terrifying turn.
Oh, camping, I love you. You are so fun. Okay, I'm settled.
But then, they saw Mackenzie's body, lifeless, yet still somehow eerie. She hadn't been herself at all before this, like something had taken over her. The realization hit them hard. Mackenzie had been possessed, and Carson was desperate to stop whatever evil had taken hold of her.
Hey guys! Don't kill her! I just wanted to play!
What they had
This is an infliction known as being on drugs.
brushed off as a prank was now a horrifying reality. The thing that started as a joke ended up with Mackenzie being possessed for real. Let's move on to our 6th scary encounter. On July 5th, 2018, he shared a video of his backpacking trip along the Kahana Trail in Pennsylvania. Everything seemed normal until a subscriber noticed something strange. As he ended the first day's footage, something ran
was live
past
streaming?
in the dark, fast and silent. He hadn't noticed it while recording, and didn't catch it during editing either, but when he finally did, chills ran down his spine.
Guys, it's Frozen, and I wanted your help in kind of solving a mystery here. So the latest video that I put out, the Kahana Trail, a subscriber commented and asked me what was running behind my shoulder at this certain time frame on night 1. So I checked it out, and I must have completely missed this during the editing process because I had no idea.
The campsite was rushed, and he found it late, around 8 p.m, just before dark. The brush around him was thick, dense enough that even a deer should have made noise moving through it, but he heard nothing.
You can see in this shot that there's something, maybe a deer. That's what to me it looks like, a deer, and then maybe another smaller deer running behind it, but I'm not quite sure. Where I was camping was all completely brush. I didn't make any kind of reaction in this shot, nor do I remember hearing anything while I was filming this clip. And I remember filming it because I had just gotten kind of all my chores done, and I was trying to settle down for the night and kind of like end the video here. But here you can see the campsite, the 2 trees that I'm attached to. Just to give everyone a general idea of where the shot was actually taken from. I'm to the right of my hammock, pretty much touching my left hand on the right tree in this screen. The camera was facing me and my back was facing the brush in this shot. So if anything would have came through camp, I more than likely would have heard it. Now here is a little bit better of a shot. So
Was it a deer, a coyote, or something else entirely? The thought kept tingling his mind. Whatever it was, it moved unnaturally fast and silent, just a few feet away. It made him wonder if he was truly alone in those woods that night.
You can kind of see the open area. To the left of my head right now, that's where I walked to get back to the campsite. So you can see how overgrown it is. I'm pointing kind of where the 2 trees are that I was hanging from. So I'm going to let the original scene play, and then I'm going to zoom it in, and then I'm going to brighten the shot up. So 3 different shots coming up. Let me know what you guys think this is. Personally, I think it's a deer, maybe a coyote, but like I said, I was camped in a pretty thick brush on night 1, and I'm pretty sure I would have heard an animal coming through that brush. So like I said, let me know what you guys think, hoping we can solve this mystery. A good day 2. I don't have to really worry about doing 20 miles tomorrow because we did 4 extra miles today.
Will he ever be able to camp alone in the woods again? With that being said, let's move on to our 7th scary camping encounter. On November 2nd, 2023, this couple were camping at Stardust Ranch when something terrifying happened. They'd heard stories, but never thought they would come face to face with a skinwalker.
Iconic Europe. 17 days, just $4,749, including flights with Holiday Max. Experience the very best of 7 countries.
We want to
want to do now is...
Whoa.
What is that?
Scared the shit out of me. Some screaming?
It started with strange sounds from the woods, low, unnatural growls. The air felt heavy, and the day was taking an horrific turn. At first, they thought it was just an animal, but then they saw it. A figure, tall and twisted, moved unnaturally at the edge of the campsite. Looked like a man, but something was wrong.
What is that? Is it a person?
What the f... It's a
Junkie
naked
number
man.
2.
Hello? Are you okay?
Can we help you?
Just need some Narcan.
The more they focus on it, the creature's eyes glow, running with abnormal speed just after disappearing for a moment. Its face seemed to change, almost like it was trying to mimic a human. It let out a deep, guttural noise that sent chills through their bodies.
He's just standing there.
Hello? What the f***? All we have to do is whistle. I heard whistling to them is like the worst thing you could do.
What?
Whistling is the worst thing you can do, he says as he starts whistling.
Yo.
Whoa.
Where'd you go?
Whoa. Run, 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 run.
Go, 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 go.
They ran for their lives in fear, knowing they were staring at a skinwalker, a creature that wasn't supposed to exist. They didn't wait around to see what would happen next. On April 17th, 2023, during a solo overland camping trip, something disturbing happened. While enjoying the quiet view, he noticed a man approaching from the distance. At first, he thought it was just another camper, but something was off. The man didn't speak, didn't wave, he just stared.
Yeah, so that was the guy that rode by last night, so he was gone all night.
The closer he got, the more intense that stare became. It wasn't friendly, it was cold, almost empty. The man was riding a bike, moving slowly, eyes locked on him the entire time. No words, no expression. Was he even human?
Yeah, so that was the guy that rode by last night, so he was gone all night.
Me,
Felt his
when I
heart
see
race,
cyclists
but
on the
he
road.
stayed still, not wanting to make any sudden movements. The stranger passed by, never breaking that eerie gaze, and then slowly disappeared into thin air, leaving behind an unsettling silence that made the night feel even colder.
I bet you that's where he's at. It's kind of creeped me out a bit. Like he just, like dead stared at me. He had yellow sunglasses.
He couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. It was a simple encounter, but one that left him terrified long after the man was gone. On November 14th, 2020, a group of friends went camping. No one knows where they are now, but this video of them camping alone in the forest went viral. There is no good reason behind this video going viral, but a paranormal activity that happened to them.
That's actually really good. Thank you. I got a new shampoo and conditioner.
Lexus, have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? Oh, dang. Look at those chicken and biscuits you got. Oh, perfect. Amazing. Oh.
All the scenes you can watch that you are watching Avatar.
On the fire, because this looks really good.
I did.
Wait, what? Wait, what? I put it on that long.
Wouldn't it be nice to have some insight into your future?
Yeah, I know. For legit though, like Alexis has been gone for so freaking long trying to actually poop.
Okay, but like, you gotta like track to go find a good place. Like,
Yeah, you do, but this has been too long. 10 minutes, she'll be back. Okay, yeah, I'll take that bet. Oh, ow, my eyes.
what? Did you hear something?
They were all having fun, and the best moments of their life up until now. Things went sideways when one of their friends claimed that he heard strange noises coming from the forest. Like any other friend, the cameraman stood up to prove him wrong, without any slight idea that he was going to regret his decision.
It's one of
Hasn't even been 10 minutes
Devin?
yet, bro.
No. Can a couple of people just come with me just to make sure we're good?
Alright, guess you can get involved. Check my camera.
Alexis?
Hold on.
No, but Devin.
I don't think she's in. Alexis? Shit. Alexis? Alexis?
Jesus.
What in hell is that?
Can't see it very well. Yeah. What the fuck is that? Okay. Shit. Wait. Okay, be careful.
Oh god.
Okay.
I don't. Guys.
Alexis.
Aiden, stop.
Okay.
Alexis, who was leading the way in the woods, was injured out of nowhere. He was sitting under a tree. He was unable to move. But soon the other friends had to run for their lives as well.
Okay.
I don't. Guys.
Alexis.
Aiden, stop.
Okay.
100% not attitude.
Kind that we've only ever seen in the movies, with 6 legs, was running towards them. They ran and at one point dropped their camera, but this recording stayed. What was that eerie creature?
Try Hungry Jack's new Storm with Nutella. Delicious soft serve with irresistible creamy hazelnut Nutella and crunchy wafer crumb. Storm with Nutella. Sharing optional. Only at Hungry Jack's.
I got a Mazzaro knife, and what followed was an absolute fiasco. Here's what really pisses me off.
My question is, how it's
They must
ever
have
seen
planned another
humanoid?
night camping after that. Or maybe they never returned from this forest. Some things will always remain a mystery. On October 2nd, 2022, a YouTuber was creating a camping instructional video in a quiet, all-alone forest. As he explained how to set up a tent, the camera unexpectedly captured a mysterious man standing in the background. There was nothing wrong with the mysterious man until you notice that it just disappears into thin air. The figure appeared just for a brief moment before vanishing into thin air. The YouTuber didn't notice the eerie presence at first, but when he reviewed the footage, the inexplicable disappearance sent chills down his spine.
Number 15. Burger King
Could it
food
have been a
lab.
ghost, or was it something more than that? Well, we will never find an answer for such paranormal activities happening around us. In these 10 terrifying camping encounters, we've seen the unimaginable, from strange creatures to eerie figures and even dangerous animals. Each case leaves behind a horrifying fear of the unknown, reminding us how vulnerable we can be in the wild. As you explore nature, always stay alert, because you never know what might be watching from the shadows. For more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video. Comment below which case you found the most horrifying. And don't forget to press the bell icon for future.
Let's check out something else. We'll check something caving related. Caving accidents. Where's that cave with the warning sign? Cave Let's look at, if we look at cave one with warning sign, we come back cave with sign. Oh, there's a one. How long is this? We want something longer. I like some of those thumbnails. There was one about. Holy shit! What's this?
You need to watch this video. I don't know about you, but this video gave me extreme anxiety. Just the thought of being in a cave underwater.
That's not her.
Not
that's
for
not
me.
her.
Do you think you could do this?
That's not her.
You need to watch.
Let's see. Do we have something that's longer in duration? What's this? 10 most dangerous dive site in Florida. Let's check this out.
This is the Eagle's Nest sinkhole in Florida. From the surface, it's just an unremarkable, uninviting, and algae-filled little pond. But this view of it is deceptive. At the bottom of this little pond is a 6-foot wide vertical tube leading to a massive, pitch-black cave room the size of an airplane hangar. And that is just the beginning. These are the Eagle's Nest cave dive disasters and why it's one of the most dangerous dive sites on Earth. As always, viewer discretion is advised. If you drive just an hour north of Tampa, Florida, you'll find the Chassahowitzka Wildlife Management Area, which covers about 24,000 acres of forested wetland and sandhills. The area is home to some unique wildlife, like the Florida black bear and several species of endangered snakes, but that's not all. Nestled right in the middle of this massive reserve is a small body of water that looks like a near-perfect circle from the sky. Standing at sea level, though, it's about as nondescript and uninviting as you can imagine. If you didn't know any better, you might swear the algae-infested pool was a haven for alligators, and taking just a few steps onto the boardwalk that leads to the water is usually enough to drive people off thanks to mosquitoes and ticks. This pool is known as Eagle's Nest and is one of Florida's many sinkholes, which have developed over millions of years of erosion. And while it may seem like an unremarkable pond while standing on its banks, those who know what they're looking at see nothing but beauty and adventure. It's for this reason that untold numbers of people flock to it every year from all over the world. That's because what lies below the surface makes Eagle's Nest special. It's a bit cliche at this point, and you've probably heard several caves referred to this way, but according to the cave diving community, Eagle's Nest is another of the Mount Everest of their sport. And much like the actual Mount Everest, it's earned this reputation.
Do you know the reason why people go climb Mount Everest is because the people who actually reach the top of Mount Everest, there's lesser than the millionaires in terms of US dollars, by the way. Put it this way, there's more millionaires in US dollars than there's people reaching the top of Mount Everest. That's why people want to go there, because it's like a massive flex.
The pool itself is not unlike any other pond.
Plus $1 million really don't buy you much
or 6
nowadays.
meters. At around the 20-foot mark, though, the pool's bottom forms a basin with what looks like a large drain at the center. In actuality, it's a 6-foot or 2-meter wide vertical tunnel that almost transports divers into another world entirely. At the end of the short tunnel is nothing but expansive pitch-black darkness, and that's because the tunnel ends in a place called the ballroom.
The devil's orifice. Zero survive chance.
This room is so big that it's been compared to the size of an airplane hangar, and cave divers who've experienced the ballroom say that being inside it is like being on a different planet or even floating through outer space. If that already wasn't incredible enough, at the very bottom of this massive chamber is a sloped debris pile where divers can choose one of several tunnels to explore. There are 2 downstream tunnels and 1 upstream tunnel. Before they make that choice, however, they're faced with a serious reality check. It can be easy for divers to get caught up in all there is to see inside Eagle's Nest, but a sign was installed to shock visitors to the cave back to Earth. This sign is the infamous sign featuring a drawing of a Grim Reaper standing over several fallen divers, and the sign reads, quote, "Stop, prevent your own death, go no further," end quote. Below this impossible to miss warning are several facts about just how dangerous Eagle's Nest can be, and that goes for even the most experienced and certified cave divers. At the very minimum, divers who enter Eagle's Nest are advised to be fully certified in cave diving, hold a certification in Trimix, which is a gas mixture for deep dives, and have a wealth of experience inside deep caves. And even divers who meet all those specifications are recommended to dive Eagle's Nest for the first time with someone extremely familiar with the cave. And finally, the very bottom of the sign reads, quote, "There's nothing in this cave worth dying for," end quote. So what is it about Eagle's Nest that makes it such a dangerous dive, yet simultaneously incredible enough for people to keep entering? With a map depth of 310 feet or 95 meters, it's not the deepest cave ever covered on the channel, but it's definitely at or near the top of the list in terms of the most challenging. To date, at least 13 people have lost their lives inside since 1981, and while that might seem like an unimpressive number, consider that a study that looked at cave diving between 1985 and 2015, which is a 30-year period, between 1985 and 2015, which is a 30-year period, determined that there were 161 American cave diving fatalities. The two time periods we're talking about don't line up perfectly, but Eagle's Nest would still account for 8% of those deaths. Or put another way, for every 11 cave deaths that occurred in the US, one of them occurred in the Eagle's Nest system, despite there being hundreds of caves to dive in across the US.
Now I
like
see
for
why
example, on Christmas Day in 2013, Darren and his son Dylan entered Eagle's Nest for a dive together. The father and son had just received new air tanks as Christmas gifts, and they were eager to try them out. Unfortunately, as far as fitting the requirements, while Darren was fully certified and experienced, Dylan, who was only 15 years old, was not. It's unknown what their dive plan was, but according to the dive computers on their wrists, they went as deep as 233 feet or 71 meters. This is a depth where most divers would switch to a different gas part of the way down to avoid nitrogen narcosis. However, it seems that the father and son didn't, and it's thought that as they descended, they became more and more intoxicated by the regular air under the immense pressure. This then led them to losing track of time and eventually becoming so low in air that they didn't have enough to make it back to the surface. And when they realized they didn't have enough air to make it back, the father and son likely panicked, causing Dylan to rapidly use up what was available in his tanks. When those were depleted, Dylan then switched to a second regulator connected to a long hose on his father's tanks, but with both of them by then breathing from the same supply, this only exacerbated the situation. It's believed that Darren then lost consciousness when the air ran out, and upon noticing that the tanks were empty, Dylan spit the regulator out of his mouth and frantically tried to make it to the surface on a breath hold. Tragically, however, neither of them survived the incident. Darren's body was later found on the debris pile at the bottom of the ballroom, and Dylan was found floating not far from a spare set of tanks they'd stashed on the way down.
Are you getting the most out of your energy?
Oh, it's pretty close.
Switch to Alinta Energy online in minutes and get a helping hand for your household with a great value energy plan. Nice. Pass the butter, please.
You can rely on
Energy.
your instinct, but I think when you are in a cave, etc., it's best that you rely on equipment like guidelines and that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of places where your senses can really fail you. In caves, on the sea, etc., it's not a social situation.
Actually, the first recorded tragedy at Eagle's Nest. In December of 1981, 29-year-old Terry and her husband Larry came to the sinkhole and were all inside one of the tunnels with 3 other divers. The dive they performed that day was one the couple had performed without an incident several times before, but as Terry held onto Larry's leg while they were heading through a tunnel, she suddenly let go. A split second later, when Larry turned to look, Terry was motionless in the water with her regulator floating outside of her mouth right beside her. He then desperately tried to get the regulator back into her mouth, but he was unsuccessful, and eventually he lost his grip on her. With not much other choice, he then left his wife and shot back to the surface, where he found a man named Jim Bentz taking photos of the surface pool. Luckily, it just so happened that Jim was a certified diving instructor and rescue diver, so when he learned from Larry what was going on, he quickly suited up, grabbed a single tank of air, and descended into Eagle's Nest. Jim, however, never resurfaced either. When a rescue team later found him, he was floating lifelessly around 250 feet or 76 meters. In a further tragic twist of fate, Jim's friends told the media that he was considering giving up cave diving over concerns about the sport's safety. Reports also say that Terry, just like Darren and Dylan, was breathing regular air despite being well below 200 feet or 61 meters. It's believed Terry and Jim both suffered debilitating bouts of nitrogen narcosis that led to their deaths. These incidents bring up yet another issue that can occur inside Eagle's Nest, and any cave for that matter, and that's when divers push themselves beyond their limits. The sign at the top of the debris pile provides a clear and sobering warning about this particular danger, but for one reason or another, many divers either ignore it or overestimate their abilities and experience. In another incident, on the evening of July 18, 2018, 20-year-old Sed arrived in the parking lot outside Eagle's Nest with a handful of other divers. This group of divers, however, was a bit different and were known as free divers. Just like cave and scuba divers, free divers wear wetsuits, masks, and fins, but they dive without air tanks of any kind. In other words, each dive is performed on a breath hold only. In any case, for hours after their arrival, members of the group would linger at the surface as each of them performed their free dives, which usually consisted of getting to a specific depth as quickly as possible with the help of some kind of weight or ballast. Then, once at depth, this group did some brief exploring before kicking their way back up to the surface. It was getting late when Sed was going to perform his last dive, and for this one, he wanted to break his own personal record by reaching the 80-foot or 24-meter mark. The rest of the group then watched as he and another diver disappeared under the water and dropped like stones, disappearing into the darkness of the ballroom. It's unclear just how long Sed could hold his breath for, but amateur freedivers can usually last a few minutes underwater, so their dives take a fraction of the time cave divers spend underwater with tanks. Either way, very quickly it became clear that something had gone terribly wrong when Sed didn't return to the surface. Several members of the group then raced into Eagle's Nest to try to locate and help him, but he was nowhere to be found. And because of the immense depth of the ballroom, they couldn't swim any deeper on just a breath hold. As this was happening at the same time, others were calling for emergency help. However, after rescue divers arrived at the scene, it didn't take too long to find Sed. His lifeless body was discovered on the debris pile about 150 feet or 46 meters below the surface. And unfortunately, based on the available information, it's not entirely clear what went wrong in his dive. And in fact, beyond that, even when almost everything goes right, Eagle's Nest has a way of claiming lives. At 55 years old, Charles was one of 4 divers who arrived at Eagle's Nest on the morning of January 8, 2017 to do some exploring. One of the divers in the group experienced some sort of equipment malfunction before they descended and pulled himself from the dive as a result. The other 3, including Charles, who had only been diving for 2 years and had no cave experience, went ahead with their plan. All 3 then descended through the vertical tunnel into the ballroom without incident when suddenly at around 100 feet or 33 meters, Charles went limp. The other 2 then rushed to him to see if he was okay, but he had somehow lost consciousness. They immediately initiated their ascent, but they also had to be careful not to go too fast to avoid decompression sickness. On the surface, as the diver who had to remain behind was loading his gear into his car, he heard the others surface and rushed to the pool to see why they were so early. He then managed to pull Charles from the water, but whatever happened to him, it was already too late. When medical services arrived, he was pronounced dead at the scene, and an autopsy showed he had suffered a heart attack during the dive.
Holy shit.
In a separate incident, Davin, a 53-year-old pilot and spear fisherman, came to Eagle's Nest with his girlfriend Greg on January 20th, 2018. The 2 divers were only planning to go to around the top of the ballroom, which is around 70 feet or 21 meters down, as that's all their experience would allow for. As they entered the seemingly endless blackness of the ballroom, David also suddenly went limp. Davin was dead before emergency medical help could arrive, and authorities speculated that he also suffered a heart attack during his dive.
What's with people getting heart attacks?
Many years before Charles and Davin passed away at Eagle's Nest, 29-year-old Brent had his first experience there in August 1990. He was a certified dive instructor who had just wrapped up an introductory course in cave diving when he entered Eagle's Nest. His dive partners that day knew he was inexperienced in caves, particularly deep caves, but what they didn't know was that Brent had been suffering blackouts underwater for about a year leading up to that dive. There are a number of reasons why someone might black out during a dive, from holding your breath unnecessarily to nitrogen narcosis or oxygen toxicity, but it's unclear what exactly was the cause of Brent's trend of losing consciousness. However, either way, at some point during his Eagle's Nest dive, he lost consciousness and then sank to the bottom of the ballroom. His body was eventually found at the 190-foot or 60-meter mark. Now, unlike many of the nearby springs in the area, another thing that makes Eagle's Nest dangerous is that it's not exactly known for always offering crystal clear conditions. Everything depends on how the weather has been and how the current is running on any given day. Most often, the water in Eagle's Nest is somewhere around slightly cloudy, but it can also become dark and muddy due to organic coloring in the water called tannins. And this is all on top of the ever-present threat of accidentally reducing the visibility to 0 by disturbing the silt along the cave's walls. To avoid this, cave divers will do their best to keep their profile as trim as possible and use techniques like a frog kick to move around, but it can still happen anyway.
Google will guide you through starting a new campaign. First, I select my search themes. Basically, words I want to show up for when somebody searches the internet.
I had a Google ad before.
I'll pop up.
I was trying to target Chinese
speakers. I can select what sort of ad I'd like to preview.
Google's
clever AI grabs images and text from my website.
The consultant at Google insists that Chinese is the same as Japanese. And I had to show him proof that Japanese does not equal Chinese. Crazy. Oh, well, too large. Wait, put it back.
As cave diving became more popular and due to the handful of deaths that occurred in Eagle's Nest before the turn of the century, the Wildlife Refuge actually banned diving there in 1999. The cave diving community was upset about this and immediately began lobbying for Eagle's Nest to be reopened to them. And it took quite a bit of convincing, but in 2003 their efforts were successful and diving was once again allowed at the sinkhole. As you might have expected though, not even a year later, tragedy struck again on June 12, 2004 when 36-year-old John and 44-year-old Craig showed up, eager for the opportunity to dive Eagle's Nest. Up to that point, John had been certified for 10 years and Craig earned his cave diving certification just 2 years earlier. Around 1 p.m. they got their diving underway with John using an underwater scooter. This made moving around inside quite a bit faster. Unfortunately, if the scooter isn't handled carefully, the water disturbed by the propeller can cause a silt out. Sometime later, the two divers were expected to be back around 2:30, but when they still hadn't arrived at 3:30, their support team called 911. Around 3 p.m. the following day, John's body was found 1,000 feet or 305 meters inside one of the system's tunnels, still wearing all of his equipment but lacking any gas in his main and secondary tanks. It would take another 2 days for Craig to be found about 290 feet or 88 meters further inside the cave and completely tangled up in a rope. It's believed that at some point in the dive, the two found themselves in a silt out, and in a moment of panic, John dropped his scooter and grabbed the guideline. Horrifyingly though, it's thought that either due to panic or the lack of a directional marker, John then followed the line in the opposite direction of the exit. This mistake, while disoriented, caused him to eventually run out of air entirely. Craig likely made a similar error, but then as he followed the rope, he came to an area where there was a jump in the line. It seems that as he was attaching his own line to make the jump, he got wrapped up in it, and then around then he ran out of gas completely and died where he was found. In another incident involving highly experienced and properly certified divers, Patrick, Chris, and Justin planned an extensive dive
some
at
kind
Eagle's
of
Nest for October 16th, 2016. Patrick and Chris were the most experienced of the three, and Justin was going on to explore some of the shallower sections, while the other two performed a much more advanced dive. The day before their dive, the three stashed trimix, decompression, and bailout tanks along the guidelines so that when they arrived on the 16th, they could just get right to diving. Justin's main role that day was to dive to a particular depth at 3 p.m. and ensure that Patrick and Chris were in the decompression stage of their dive. The decompression stage, as many of you are probably familiar with, is another critical element of cave diving, particularly for those reaching extreme depths like you'll find in Eagle's Nest. As a diver descends, nitrogen gas is absorbed by the soft tissues, but on ascent, that nitrogen comes back into the bloodstream, which carries it to the lungs so it can be expelled while exhaling. But crucially, this is a process that occurs slowly and is related to the time and depth spent underwater. And this is such an important process because if the ascent is too quick, the nitrogen will form bubbles in the blood, which can cause a variety of issues. In mild cases, it can cause joint and muscle pain, headache, and weakness, but in more serious cases, it can lead to paralysis or even death. Sometime in the afternoon that day, Patrick, Chris, and Justin descended together, and when they reached Justin's max depth, they stopped for a moment and flashed each other the OK hand signal before Patrick and Chris continued on. Just like they planned, Justin came back to his max depth at 3 o'clock after exploring for a while, but when he looked below him, there was no sign of his dive partners. Every half hour, Justin returned to depth to check on Patrick and Chris, but when neither of them was seen by 6 o'clock, Justin then called the Cave Country Dive Shop and spoke with a rescue diver. A rescue diver then rushed to Eagle's Nest with a team of support divers on the way, but things weren't in place to safely conduct a search and rescue dive until around 11 o'clock that night. 2 rescue divers then entered Eagle's Nest and took turns searching the upstream tunnels once they were inside the ballroom. After an extensive look around the upstream corridors with finding nothing, they turned and made their way through the downstream tunnel. However, when they surfaced around 3:30 in the morning, they did so empty-handed without finding Patrick or Chris. Another pair of divers then took over from there, entering one of the other downstream tunnels toward an area known as the pit. Almost immediately on the exit side of the pit, they found the lifeless bodies of Patrick and Chris. Based on what was observed when the bodies were found, including data from their respective dive computers, here is what is believed to have happened. Around 43 minutes into their dive, the pair arrived at the pit and spent a few moments outside it before entering, likely to determine a plan to navigate the tight restrictions there.
At around the 49-minute mark, they entered the restriction but then backed out several minutes later. They then waited again before a second attempt was made at around 58 minutes, but 3 minutes later, something strange occurred.
Love Costco? You can now get it delivered only on DoorDash. We've got Costco's big brands and even bigger value. Download the app and get 30% off your first order, up to $20 off. Your door to more. DoorDash.
Well, winter is almost over and that means getting back outdoors.
We have some great tips for keeping skin protected even when adventurous children have mishaps.
As well as continuing to boost immunity so you can stay outdoors. Let's get into it.
One of them then abandoned the rebreather apparatus they were wearing. A rebreather recycles exhaled gas, turning it into breathable gas, which can extend dive time and limit the bubbles a diver produces. At some point as well, the secondary long hose on one of their air tanks was deployed and the pair began breathing from the same tank. It's unclear if one of them suffered some kind of mechanical issue, but it was apparent at the scene that one of them got stuck in the restriction and the other was attempting to free him. Unfortunately, at around 85 minutes into the dive, the two men ran out of gas despite being in the vicinity of a bailout bottle of gas they had stashed the day before. And unfortunately, they never even made it to their planned decompression stops. So in the end, what is known is that it seems that there were two experienced divers who were at a restriction when something occurred that required one of the divers to remove his rebreather despite it functioning correctly. They then began buddy breathing while trying to navigate the restriction, but between whatever they were dealing with and the tight cave passages, they ran out of gas before making it to safety. It's been suggested that one man may have gotten stuck and the other man died trying to get him out. As you may have noticed, many of the incidents that occurred at Eagle's Nest didn't occur during some crazy deep technical dive. There were a couple, and probably some more that aren't widely publicized, but by and large, the incidents occurred due to a variety of factors that aren't entirely related to the cave itself. In fact, in some cases, they were simply freak accidents. So, much like the infamous Blue Hole of Dahab, due to a lack of records, it's not entirely clear if Eagle's Nest is uniquely dangerous or if there are simply more dives that occur there, resulting in a higher raw number of deaths. Either way, Eagle's Nest Sinkhole remains open to this day to the cave diving community. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you want to listen to the audio-only version of these videos, you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to support the channel, consider joining the Patreon and becoming a channel member on YouTube. Also, if you have a story suggestion, feel free to submit it to the form found in the description. Anyways, thanks again, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.
Oh yeah, there it is. Let's check it. Okay, might have to wrap it up earlier today. So if you are listening, thank you for coming. If you are watching this on TV, hope whatever comes up next
on April 15th, 2017.
And I hope you all have a great weekend ahead.